Hello everyone. I just got a viewer question and this viewer question is extra interesting and it got me thinking a little bit. The question itself is formulated like this. So, I have a question about the XT3 versus XPRO. Noticing XPRO. The person itself, it's not specifying any specific XPRO model. And then the questions continue with some background, and that background is, after falling in love with the X100V, I'm seriously considering trading my XT3 for an XPRO3. I shot portraits and headshots professionally. Do you think I'll be losing anything going for the XT3 to the XPRO3? Short answer on that question is no, I don't think you lose anything. The longer answer on that, however, can be slightly different, and I would say it all comes down on how you're using the LCD today. Because, well, you don't see the LCD on the XPRO3. However, it seems to me that you are more into the rangefinder look and the rangefinder design more than the classical DSLR design. And I can see why that is a big thing when you're doing portraits, because I'm still I'm personally doing a lot of portraits and headshots as well, and that's my favorite thing to shoot. I like shooting people. And the thing that I feel like when I'm shooting people with a rangefinder is that I have contact with the person itself that I'm shooting. So it's some way less intriguing for the person that I'm shooting. I get a more personal contact with the person I'm shooting, rather than when I'm shooting with the DSLR and hiding more of my face behind the camera. Portraits in some way, however, is many of the portraits are shot in portraits mode like this. So you can still have contact with the person, but overall, when you're shooting in landscape mode, you get that contact as well. And I think maybe you are covering less of your face with a rangefinder design. So that's one thing to consider. And the other thing is that you are already in love with the X100V, which is a rangefinder design. When it comes down to performance, the X100V, the XT3, the XPRO3, and the XT4, they all share the same sensor. So when it comes down to pure image quality, there's no difference between them. I had never used a XT3, but I have been using an XT4. And between the XT4 and the XPRO3, I don't noticing any difference at all between the autofocus performances and eye tracking. And considering that the XT3 is an older camera than the XT4, there might or might not be a difference in autofocus. So there's might be a small chance that the autofocus performance is better or perhaps the same on the XT3 and the XPRO3. So to shortly answering your question, if I think you'll be losing anything from going from XT3 to the XPRO3, the short answer on that is no, I don't think you lose anything. I think you will gain a lot because you get a bigger personal contact with the person you're shooting. And Another factor is that the Xpro3 is a good-looking camera, and it's quite often a conversation starter. There's a curiosity from people who sees this camera, people asking, what kind of camera is that? Is that a Leica? Is that an old camera? Are you shooting an analog? Are you shooting a film? I got a lot of questions, and it's a very nice thing to do. And when you tell them that it's a Fujifilm camera with a titanium body, they are like, ah, cool. Why do you shoot with that? I never seen that. Well, it's a good conversation starter. So I think going for the Xpro3 is, well, it can't really go wrong with it. And that's the short answer. If you want to see more viewer questions, there's a playlist here where I collected all the viewer questions. If you like this kind of content and you have questions yourself, well, for seeing more of the content, please consider subscribing. And if you have questions yourself, just drop them in the comment below, and I might answering them like this. If I don't answering it like this, I'm definitely gonna answering it in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I see you later.